Welcome back, everyone. And on this episode, I'll be revealing Nick Theriot's secret strategy for YouTube that makes him over $250,000 a year. We're going to be breaking down how he's traded 3 hours a week for all that cash and how you can do it too. And lastly, we'll be finding out how good those leads really are and much, much more. You're not going to want to miss this. Keep watching to the end of the video. And the reason I asked Nick to come and talk with me is because I wanted to go ahead and showcase how YouTube can be so powerful for agencies, for creators, for marketing people, for so many wide variety of folks. It can really help take your business to the next level. And as you guys have seen, I haven't uploaded very much since I was doing gaming content. And the reason for that is I got into editing and I started a business with my partner Blake, and we now own Kaizen Media. So go ahead, scan the QR code. I'll wait. And the agency has done some pretty insane stuff in the last month since we launched this. Blake and I used to be editing, and we'd seen a ton of success on YouTube and on TikTok. So we decided to come together and make this business where essentially we were focusing on working with creators. But after having worked with Joel Kaplan and getting into Agency Lab, we saw a huge opportunity here in the marketing agency space. Okay, we're now live on the call with Nick Theriot, but my first question for you is, would you recommend YouTube to other agencies to use as their main lead gen source, a lot like you have?
Yeah, so I highly recommend, if you're an agency owner, get a YouTube channel up, and you don't even have to be consistent with it. Like, just every time you get a major win inside of your agency, like for a client, then just go ahead, create a YouTube video on it and post it. Regardless if the channel blows up or not, what you can use is you can send people to your YouTube channel and you have all these documented case studies. Yeah. So if you're working only with chiropractors, let's say, for example, they ask you a question about objection handling, you can link them to your YouTube channel, tons of chiropractor case studies and stuff like that. And that's going to increase your conversion rate. Now, if you're definitely working with e-com brands only, I highly recommend getting a YouTube channel started. Like, obviously it's working for me. It'll probably work for you as well. If you're working with personal brands, then obviously, again, that's be one that be a little bit more difficult, because typically personal brands, people making a lot of money, they're not spending a lot of time on YouTube. And you may still need to rely on those cold emails for personal brands.
Future Oz here, and I just want to give you guys a little bit more context. What he's saying is, like, yes, everyone can use YouTube as a part of their funnel. Some will be able to use it as their sole lead gen, but in other cases, it'll work more as a supplement to the funnel instead of the direct funnel. All of that to say that depending on your niche, you might need to supplement like your paid advertising. And this is a way of overcoming an objection, or a way to present case studies, or a way to demonstrate testimonials in a way that packages it up really well. All right, back to the interview. Okay, Nick, so tell me a little bit more. What made you get into YouTube, and how did you figure out this was such a viable option for getting clients?
Long story short, I've been aware of YouTube since 2012. That's when I started like my YouTube channel in the gaming scene, and fell in love with it. And then I realized, like, hey, I can't do gaming forever to make money. So got out of that side, but I always knew the power of YouTube, and I fell in love with just the process of figuring out how something works, doing it myself, and teaching other people how to do it. Especially something challenging too. You really have to like grind towards, not just something that's very easy. And I fell in love also with the idea of making money online. So I had those two ideas instilled into me by the time I was age 13, 14 years old. Fast forward a few years, a lot of other little things going on, the lemonade stand, yada, yada, yada. I get into online agency world. I had that big idea. Well, look, if I grew this business with Facebook ads, how can I do that for other businesses? And started my e-com agency back in September 2019. Is when I landed my first e-commerce client. And how I did that was through YouTube. And after months of just all these other like channels in terms of like cold email, sending video pitches, door knock, like all this stuff right there. I was doing all this crazy stuff. I hated it, but I was driven by the fact that if I close one of these clients, it's money on the table. During some period of that time right there, I had inspiration to start a YouTube channel again. This one video that got like 300 views total on BidCap.
Yeah.
I had this lady email me and she said, hey, I spent $30K on ads in the last 30 days. And I'm looking for someone to help me out and grow the business. I'm like, this is a freaking scam or something. Like, granted, I'm working with budgets now that are $300K a month. Right. So hop on a call with her next day. And 3 hours later, 5K deal closed. And at this time, I've never charged more than $1,500 for a deal. And I've never even worked with an e-com business before. I realized, okay, hey, there's something powerful here with this YouTube. I just had a deal close. I didn't have to go through any of the standard questions of, have you done this for anyone else? Do you have any results? Let me think about it. With a standard cold email and a cold video pitch like that, you don't get that at all. It's,
Right.
oh, who's this annoying dude that's been aggravating me the last 6 weeks of emails? No, they were on YouTube already because they had a problem they needed to solve and they weren't getting results with ads.
Yeah.
2, they need to try to either find someone to do it for them or pay someone to teach them how to do it. With the YouTube side, you're not authority. You're looked up as an authority, and people are coming to you with help. And then you start, and they're very excited to work with you. They're very open. They typically work better in the sense of like the client relationship of getting shit done for you as well.
Okay, so basically the relationship is better, the objections are easier, and they respect your authority more.
After I realized that, I was like, yo, like we need to double down on this. But when I posted that video, it was basically just a case study of documenting, literally transparent case study of documenting exactly what we did for this e-com brand and how we made them $650,000 in 4 months after they started with us, and it blew up. And I demonstrated value of how I help these brands. And basically people started commenting to me saying, hey, can you do the same for me? And I just kept posting new videos every week.
So how did this affect the content you were putting out on YouTube?
I realized that the type of content you create is like going fishing. You know, if I put a worm, I'm gonna catch a small fish. I'm gonna put a big freaking fish on there, I'm gonna get a big shark.
Yeah.
So the type of content you gotta look at is like your bait. So I'm looking for someone doing 50K to 150K a month, and I want to help them scale to $1 million a month.
Right.
So I need to post content that's relevant to the problem someone doing 50K to 150K a month is currently experiencing. And then I also do need to demonstrate case studies of me doing that for other brands. So if I've taken a brand from 50K to 150K a month, I need to post a case study from 50K to 150K a month. I'm demonstrating high levels of case studies. So that way, when I'm getting on calls with brands, like we had a call this week with a brand on 500K a month, there's no questions if I can do it for them because I already have case studies they've seen on my channel of me doing that for them.
Right. You're making content that addresses the pain your target audience is experiencing and is looking for online or looking to overcome online.
It's a very valuable asset to have. And I think just with YouTube, just the way it works, they're searching your content with the frame of mind that they currently have a problem. And that problem is dictated by the search keywords they're using. Yeah. So your content needs to be able to hit those keywords. So that way you don't need big video views at all. But if you have a video that's like, here's exactly how to go from $50,000 a month to 150K a month, you might have 300 views. But the people watching that are people that are doing 50K a month and are struggling to get 150K a month. Right. And guess what? A portion of those people will call at you, and a portion of those people will close in terms of clients and stuff like that.
And previously we spoke about how you do your content in a 3-hour window once a week. Put me in the shoes of Nick Theriot during that window.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So a lot of my content, I try to keep it very relevant to just new things I've learned, either new things I've learned, new wins inside the agency. I feel like every week there's always like the general theme of thoughts, but it might have been like this new creative test we've been running has been crushing it for our clients. So I'll always like make 1 or 2 videos around those type of things right there each week. I do all my content production between like, 9, 10 a.m. on a Friday to about 12, 1 o'clock. So up 3 hours. During that 3-hour period of time, the first hour and a half is more just writing down notes. Sometimes it's still topic planning if I don't have my topics yet. So I'll write down a few topics, which I want to discuss. But I try to look at the general theme of what's going on in the markets as well. Any case studies I can document, and then anything, maybe new I've learned that I want to teach people. So like those are my general 3 theme of buckets and stuff. And I try to keep them all within like a different context. So that way it kind of keeps the content fresh and stuff.
Okay, Future Oz again. He breaks down his content into 3 major categories. And this is something you can copy when thinking about YouTube ideas. And those categories are 1, what's happening in the marketplace. 2, what new things have I learned that I want to teach other people, or that other people would, that I'm looking to target would have, and I can help them overcome. And then 3, what are some case studies, right? Like, and in the case that you're not an e-com business, This can be ads, systems, or client success, where maybe it shows off more of your internal prowess, more of the luxury experience, more of what they might feel like during that time.
I try to look at it from the perspective of the viewer, what's going to keep people engaged, entertained, and it's kind of keep mixing that up, but like still within the context of things that they enjoy.
Also, something else to note here is that he has his clients in mind the whole time. He's asking like two main questions. One, what is entertaining or is a problem that they would likely look up on YouTube? And two, how do I solve this issue for others in their position? So Nick, what's your process once you shoot this content? Like, does it require a lot of time additionally to edit the videos, to work with the videos, to handle the videos?
Honestly, after I film my videos, that's it. I upload it to a Google Drive folder. My editing team will go ahead. They'll edit the videos.
Okay, I got to interrupt again here because this is such a good key piece of information. Like, this is what I love, is he's found a way to simplify his content creation process, right? So it goes from, he ideates the content, he records it, and then he doesn't have to worry about it until it's live and he's got a client calling him or he's got a client on his calendar.
I can just leave a short title of what I gives the general context of the video. And they'll go ahead and do a little bit of keyword research, SEO research, and stuff like that when they're uploading it, to where like the title makes sense, the thumbnail makes sense. And then also have them now creating 9x16 variations of it that I'm uploading to YouTube Shorts. And then just having those automatically sent to like TikTok as well.
Which brings us to the next question, Nick. On average, how many leads do you get from YouTube every month?
Yeah, so it grows exponentially every month. And it's funny too. Like when I create my first few videos, I was getting a ton of calls booked because originally I was just like, here's my calendar link, book a call with me. And I got to a point where I was doing like 20 calls a week, but then like none of them were qualified. But so what I did was I implemented a jot form in place. And I basically asked people a few questions about their business. What we do is people who are making like less than 50K a month in revenue, they can't even book a call with me at all.
Right.
So I get about 60 leads a month. That's what we averaged in Q4 of 2021. And 60 leads a month for 60 people that basically filled out the form, but only a small portion of them will actually get full access to my calendar if they're making that revenue. That's probably around 5 to 6 people a month that I'm actually hopping on calls with, but they're like amazingly pre-qualified already, to where the close rate's almost at a 50%.
Okay, so how do the YouTube leads compare to the leads from like Facebook and social media ads or paid ads and referrals as far as quality and close rates go?
Yeah, paid ads. We ran paid ads for a period of time, and we could not get the quality we wanted. We were getting a ton of people. Like after a few thousand spent, we were getting like 90% of people, 99% of people that were spending like less than $1,000 a month on Facebook ads. Like there's no way we can work together. So, and think about like $5,000 on paid ads to get nothing. And then we spend $1,000 a month on our YouTube. And then on top of that, we're getting 1 to 2 new clients a month that's paying us high ticket. So like it just the ROI is not really comparable in that perspective right there.
Gotcha.
I did the lead gen myself, and just the lead gen side, especially for e-commerce, is hard because it's not like you're doing personal brands. It's not like you're doing local businesses. You're emailing e-com brands, and I find those a little bit harder to do cold email for, especially one that's doing 50,000 plus a month. They're getting hammered with support email inboxes. And then how do you find the owner of said e-com brand? It's very difficult, So it's like, okay, well, where's the owner getting their information? And a lot of e-com brands, especially Shopify brands, they got their start from watching YouTube videos. So likely every time they enter a problem in their business, they go on YouTube to sort it out first. I found a very strong correlation in that perspective. So now, again, content production wise, just create content around those problems. And there you go. You're always been the first person they go to. So so like we've tried it all, but like YouTube still comes down to be the best one.
Okay, so really quickly, what you're telling me here is you went from 1% to 8 to 10% of qualified leads, from 1 to 3% close rate to about 50% close rate, from $1,500 a month to $5,000 a month per client. On top of that, went from $1,000 to 5 to 6 figures in ad spend, all while making the sales process shorter and with less objections. That's pretty impressive. But now the one metric that we haven't discussed, and this will be my last question, is how does the client retention compare?
Yeah, and same thing. It just the retention does work better in that sense. I think it just like after the first month, like even if you're in an authoritative state of like a YouTube channel, like, you know, if you're not producing results at the end of the day, like you're not going to keep the client on. And that's a fact right there for any e-com business or any business in general, especially if they're paying you high retainer fees. But I just noticed that in just that first week, it's definitely a difference between someone from YouTube and someone that's completely cold email or paid ad, because again, you're just different frame of minds they're going to with a problem or anything like that. Whereas cold email, likely they have that problem, but they also feel like they're being sold to, and people hate being sold to.
Okay, so to wrap this video up, I'm gonna go ahead and chat with you guys. Overall, we've learned a repeatable process for success, and most importantly, a strong argument for why YouTube is still a powerhouse for generating leads. Like, we just showed you how Nick was able to do it. Now, if you have to, watch this video 2 or 3 times, but what I want you guys to understand is that social media and YouTube need a funnel just like any ad campaign would. So emulate what Nick has done and start making content that your ideal client would want to watch. Like, this is the proof that content doesn't have to be hard to make. So go ahead and set some time aside in your week, whatever you can commit to, and dedicate 50% of that time to ideation, 40% of that time to shooting the content, and 10% to communicating with your editing agency, like what you wanted to communicate, what the overall feel of the video you want is, and upload it into a drive for them. And that's it. That's as easy as it has to be. And so instead of me rambling, I want to just make this short, sweet, and simple. I want this to be as jam-packed with information for as short a time as possible. So if you're like Nick and you're spending tons of money on paid ads and all these different things that maybe aren't getting you the best clients, maybe aren't getting you the right clients, come and schedule a meeting with me. You can hit the code right here and just schedule a meeting. Tell me what your pain points are. Tell me where you want to grow on social media. And me and my team will get to work on editing that content, making it go viral, getting you your free time back, letting you focus on the business, and easing some of the stress of constantly having to keep the pipeline full. So go ahead, scan the code, and I'll see you on the next one.